Oh, hello there, I didn't see you. Welcome to this fine evening where I'm reading this wonderful story. My name is John Richter, and recently, in my very prestigious and elite English class, we read the novel Elemental Pete by Mark Dunn. This unique fictional story is about the town of Nollab. After Nevin Nollab, who invented the pangram, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. This town thrives on English language and words made up by each of the 26 letters of the alphabet. However, one day the Z fell off of the cenotaph dedicated to Nevin Nollab himself, and panic broke loose. People had no idea what to make of it. Was it merely that the letters no longer stuck onto the cenotaph, or was it a sign from Nollab himself telling him something? Well, the High Island Council gathered soon after to discuss the matters, in which they concluded that Nollab had been trying to say, from his grave, to no longer use this letter. At first, it was quite an odd concept, removing the letter Z from all English vocab, literature, verbal usage, pretty much anything that uses words. Well, just by even saying the letter, you can get in trouble. In fact, if you wrote or spoke any of these letters, the government would make it 3 times and you're out. No Nollab for you for the rest of your life. So as time progressed, it got more and more difficult because more and more letters began to fall off. People had to think twice about whatever they were going to say, and banishment from the island was becoming very common. The government was brutal, life was hard, and in the end, hardly anybody was left in Nollab. Now, Dunn didn't write this novel just for fun. He wrote it because he wanted to get a message across, a message about censorship. By writing this novel, Dunn is able to show how the negative consequences of censorship and how it can be harmful to people. One example of a negative consequence of censorship is when Ella is writing to her family on November 15th. In the lines of her letter to them on page 188, she says, "Incidentally, you are probably reading my last letter to you. It is now simply too tiring to write, to say what I must say in language one may understand. I am so sorry." It is very difficult for her to be writing these things because she can't use all the letters. She's finding it so hard that this is probably going to be the last letter she ever writes to her family. And that is a very sad thing, that censorship has cut off all her relations to her family. And a different example about negative consequences of censorship is with Georgianne Talgate. She begins to paint herself all over her body because she realizes that there's really no one around for her to talk to be with, and she finds this hobby as her fun. On page 175, Georgianne is writing to Ella, in which she says, "Lately, I have started painting my torso in pretty motley hues. I sit in front of the mirror in the sleepy room. I admire my handiwork." This is just sickening. No one should be sitting in the room all alone, painting themselves for fun. They're going to have mental issues, and they're probably going to get sick. In fact, Georgianne ends up dying because of the lead poisoning from the paint. I think it's terrible that this all occurred just because of the censorship of those letters. Once again, Dunn shows a good example of why people need their freedom to say what they want, to act how they are, and to live the life they need to live and how they want to be living. All in all, Dunn does a very nice job of getting his message about censorship across. Through the events in this book, us readers can see why people need their freedom and not to be held back, or, in other words, be censored off. I think this novel is a fine choice to read, and I think that others need to be able to see the deeper meanings of Elemental Pete. Well, it was good talking to you, but I'm sorry. I'm going to have to get back to my reading.